I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Had plenty problems. Had plenty problems. Had plenty problems, only I could fix. Living set apart and holy, staying out the mix. Operating off logic, not no emotion. She say I'm cold-hearted, I replied it's frozen. Blessed hands, everything I touch is golden. Many y'all call, but only few is chosen. Laughter and silence when the truth is spoken. The balls in my words, it can never be broken.
Never broken, full down, never give up. Still standing 10 toes, both fists up in the air. Truth or dare, got a 1,000-yard stare. When you're broken, fucked up, nobody care about me. Now I see there was 2 footprints. God carried me through the fire, the rain. I thanking for the pain, the struggle, the challenge made me a better man. Not going back to that to do the same thing. Insanity, how can it be the land of the free? If my son don't get opportunities like Sean Hannity. 1 cent to me, I teach truth when I speak. Never broken, gone hard, ain't no stopping me. Never broken. We're never broken, man. T-Doc recordings, man. Kahan Tazadak, Kadar. On the hook, we're never broken,
problems,
man. This is
only
truth
I
music.
could fix. Living set apart and holy, staying out the mix. Operating off logic, not no emotion. She say I'm cold-hearted, I replied it's frozen. Blessed hands, everything I touch is golden. Many y'all call, but only few is chosen. Laughter and silence when the truth is spoken. The balls in my words, it can never be broken.
Tell me I can't do it, tell you to piss off. You can do it too, but you're too damn soft. Real men understand Torah and Tanakh. You will never meet another like Tazadak. You could turn off the heat, but the beat don't stop. Don't wanna get done, don't turn on the pot. The blessing highly favor rising to the top. Thin line between the haves and have-not. Got your head moving cause this song is hot. Real truth music by T-Doc, never broken. Con, they gave up on me. They gave up on me. I came up on them. They knocked me down, but I got back up in that 12th round. Still standing on all 10 toes with both hands in the air. They try to break me, but they can't do it, man. I'm on it, man. That's how we do it, man. That's how we own it, man. They gave up on me. I came up on them, man. I'm still standing, man. Never broken. They tried. They couldn't break me, man. I'm impregnable. I'm ferocious. I'm never broken. Khan tells a doc, so you know who said it. That's how we on it. T-Doc recordings.
Had plenty problems, only I could fix. Living set apart and holy, staying out the mix. Operating off logic, not no emotion. She say I'm cold-hearted, I replied it's frozen. Blessed hands, everything I touch is golden. Many y'all call, but only few is chosen. Laughter and silence when the truth is spoken. My balls and my words, it can never be broken.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't.
To obtain great success, one must endure struggle. Increasing my value, that's the reason why I hustle. Been improving all my flaws, becoming a better version. Avoiding all distractions, staying focused on my purpose. To obtain great success, one must endure struggle. Increasing my value, that's the reason why I hustle. Been improving all my flaws, becoming a better version. Avoiding all distractions, staying focused on my purpose.
Increase your value. Focus on your purpose, can't tell you anything quite worth this. Women love and value men, the top of the list. He's chasing fish, he got it twisted, think she's chasing dick. Women chase wildlets, my game is powerless. Body solid, teach men to abolish. Chase a woman cause I think that shit is childish. Help you overcome aphasia with this right knowledge. Body like a figure 8, makes you wanna holler. She gave me her number, but yo, I didn't call her. Heart filled with sorrow. Saw her on social media like a simp you follow. Doing what will value women, ties a doc, big baller.
To obtain great success, one must endure struggle. Increasing my value, that's the reason why I hustle. Been improving all my flaws, becoming a better version. version. Avoiding all distractions, staying focused on my purpose. To obtain great success, one must endure struggle. Increasing my value, that's the reason why I hustle. Been improving all my flaws, becoming a better version. Avoiding all distractions, staying focused on my purpose.
High value men making creditor moves. When your status this high, you're the one they choose. Sexy ladies can't fade me. I never let them play me. They must think I'm crazy. Tell that doc I want your baby. Don't want no beta male because they're too lazy. Slim is acting shady. No ifs, ands, and maybes. I'm driving her a while. He's driving Miss Daisy. Wake up, check and increase your value. Stop chasing old ladies. Stop chasing old ladies. Wake up, Jacob. Jacob, wake up. Stop chasing them grandmas. Go get your mom right.
To obtain great success, one must endure struggle. Increasing my value, that's the reason why I hustle. Been improving all my flaws, becoming a better version. Avoiding all distractions, staying focused on my purpose. To obtain great success, one must endure struggle. Increasing my value, that's the reason why I hustle. Been improving all my flaws, becoming a better version. Avoiding all distractions, staying focused on my purpose.
All right, shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters. Akim and Akhlaq. Welcome to another True Disciples of Christ Bible study, and the truth will make you mad. And the truth will, in fact, make you mad. So we have a very interesting show tonight. Right now on the panel, I have the good, mighty, the strong, the impregnable, the magnificent Nefertali himself. And on top of that, I got Taurus, the bull, the powerful, the great Ephraim is in the building. And we also got over here the good brother Benaiah just checked in. And we're waiting for a few more others to check in. Before we get started, brothers, we're going to talk about men that's possibly in a relationship with a borderline woman and they're totally unaware. There's a lot of men out there that's unaware exactly what borderline personality disorder is. I want to start off by saying this is not any kind of medical advice. We're not psychiatrists or psychologists. If you need some sort of medical advice, or if you feel like your life is in imminent danger of you possibly taking your own life, please call immediately. We are not psychologists or psychiatrists, but we do give our perception of the truth. And this is, in fact, the truth. And if you're not careful, the truth will make you mad. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Magnificent himself, the great and powerful Nefertali.
Oh, shalom, shalom, shalom. It's good to be here. I'm actually out here in Stone Mountain with the rest of the T-Doc members, and what a blessing to be on the panel, Brother Kahan. Thanks for having me, and look, I'm looking forward to waking them up one step at a time with you, brother. All praises be to the Most High Yahweh.
Come on, moving right along. We got Ephraim who's in the building. What you got, good brother?
Shalom, shalom. Greetings, greetings. Like always, it's always an honor. Always learning and striving, as you should.
Passing it right along down the line to the good brother Kadar.
Shalom, shalom, Akim wa Akwatham. Having a good day today, celebrating the Sukkot. And we always got an interesting topic, brothers and sisters, to learn from. So I look forward to tonight's show. Shalom.
And moving right along to the good brother Benaiah. She's still in here, right? Come on.
Shalom, shalom. It's always good to be with the brothers. Congregating like we're supposed to. continue to knowledge and learn. Shalom, everybody.
I guess that's all the only ones that logged in. Yeah, what we want to talk about tonight is men that's possibly in relationships with women that suffers from borderline personality disorder. One of the most prominent problems with this, a good brother Nefertali, is a lot of men are actually involved with borderline women, but they don't know what to look for. And so after they listen to platforms like this one, they discover, hey, those are all the characteristics of my woman. So I wonder if my woman's a borderline. Have any of you brothers on the platform ever been involved with a borderline? And at what point did you discover that you was actually involved with a woman that suffered from borderline personality disorder? And I'm telling you, the crazy is real when you're dealing with borderline. She's hot, she's cold, she's happy, she's sad. And I mean, if she's happy, she's extremely happy. If she's sad, she's intensifyingly sad. Any of you brothers on the platform are familiar with any kind of, could you recall any of this to your remembrance in a relationship that you've actually may have been in at the time and you didn't realize you was involved with a borderline?
Con. I would have to admit, I've been with a few borderline women in my time of passing. And I believe one of the most, one racial relationship in particular brings to my remembrance. And some of the things this young lady did, it just kept getting worse and worse. One of the things was that, she'd be so happy to see me. I was in the military during this time, so she would be so happy to see me when I come in and everything from off the ship and all. I would be hanging out around the house, eating, cooking, we having a good time. Next thing I know, I don't know if it was the drink or whatnot, but the young lady just started crying out of nowhere.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. So, here I come to the rescue, holding her, rocking her, trying to sit up here and find out what was going on in her head. Come to find out, she's upset because she's already thinking about me leaving, but I just got here. Just don't make no sense, huh? And I just got wore out in the bedroom trying to make up with that because it was like, yo, man, is this the only thing that you looking for? And if you don't have it, you're upset. I thought I was pretty good by putting her in a situation like that, but it ended up hurting me in the long run, because I just couldn't keep being Dr. Phil. I mean, I was dealing with someone who obviously needed to see a psychiatrist, and I honestly thought wasn't nothing wrong with her until, just the emotional episodes just become outbursts out in public too. I had folks looking at me like I was doing something to this young lady. But, I quickly got myself out of that scenario because it was just too much of an emotional drain on myself. And, basically now when I deal with females and I see that they have those type of borderline disorders, I beeline it. I do an about face and get up out of there. It really got extreme when the young lady, she, another incident. I came home from being out to sea for about 3 months, man. Made love to the young lady, and all of a sudden my clothes ended up missing. She was just determined I wasn't going to get back on that ship. So I wasn't going to leave out the house naked, but, I learned very much then that I would not put myself back in a scenario like that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm very curious to see what other Akims have run into dealing with a lot of these borderline women, because in my opinion, I honestly think they have a lot of baggage that's not being unpacked, and they unpacking it on you.
Yeah, to those of you that's actually just being introduced to the borderline personality disorder, hey man, you're gonna have to lower that. To those of you that's actually just recently being introduced to the borderline personality disorder, if you're not familiar with it, there's essentially, according to the DSM-4, there was 9 symptoms that make one a borderline. Now, you don't necessarily need all 9 symptoms. You only need 5 of the 9. Now, to my understanding, they just added a new 10th symptom in 2022. So some of those symptoms of a borderline, remember, if you're involved with any woman that has at least 5 of these, then more than likely she is possibly a borderline. You probably should ask her to go and get, you know, a professional opinion from a psychiatrist or a psychiatrist, right? Now, some of the symptoms are intense fear of abandonment, even going to extreme measures to avoid real or imagined separation or rejection. So it may not be real, but she makes it real in her mind. A pattern of unstable. That's not a mistake, no. This didn't start until we started this.
Exactly.
It never started until we started this. So a pattern of unstable, intense relationships, such as idealizing someone one moment and then suddenly believing the person doesn't care enough. Any of you ever dealt with a woman like that? Rapid change in self-identity, self-image that includes shifting goals and values and seeing yourself as bad or as if you don't exist at all. Periods of stress, related paranoia, loss of contact with reality, lasting from a few minutes to a few hours. Impulsive and risky behavior, such as gambling, reckless driving. Borderline might be in the car and just start driving crazy, try to run into you. Unsafe sex, having sex, that's what I was saying in my song today, having sex with a total stranger. And then I blame you if you're trying to go out and do something. Binge eating. They might just go on binge eating and gain a lot of weight, or they may stop eating at all. Suicidal threats, usually slicing the wrist or something like that, or slicing the upper arm. Wide mood swings that's lasting from a few hours to a few days, just out of nowhere, as Nefertali was explaining. She might be extremely happy, then go to being extremely sad. Ongoing feelings of emptiness. She feels extremely empty. Inappropriate, intense anger, such as frequently losing their temper. That's a big one. Being sarcastic or bitter or having physical fights. All of these. So if you're with a woman and she has at least 5 of these characteristics, run. Run. We cannot give any kind of professional diagnosis over here, but she definitely fits the criteria of a borderline. And why am I specifically saying women? Because prior to feminism coming into the psychiatry and psychology world, in the DSM-4, most borderlines, 70 to 75% were women. But now they're saying more men are becoming borderlines. But we got to shift that back to these men are being raised by these women that has borderline. So, with that being said, anyone got any precepts you want to look at on this? Let's go to Psalms 34, 17 through 20. Psalms 34, 17 through 20. Are you with a borderline? And if you are, after tonight, you should be able to figure it out and get out of that. Get out, like the movie. Shout out to Seth for the donation, man. All praises to funding the war on the face yourself. We're out in the forest, so don't have the 21 gun salute. We're out on Sukkot, the Feast of Booth. Actually, we're sleeping outside, to those of you that are unaware. We're sleeping outside. It's getting pretty nippy out here, too. Someone got that precept?
The book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 17. The righteous cry, and Yahuwah heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. Yahuwah is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite heart, a contrite spirit.
So, contrary to popular belief, people that had, what the modern world doctors and scientists classify as schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, bipolar, was considered to be unclean spirits. So the scriptures are saying the Most High hears the righteous, but someone that has an unclean spirit on them, they don't hear it. This is why you hear many people in Catholicism talk about exorcisms, because they realize that certain personalities are considered to be unclean, and people try to deal with them. Case in point, borderline personality, they realize that there's no medication that could treat that. The only thing that they've said that's actually been effective is the dialectical therapy. And essentially, borderlines are never healed. They're never healed. Usually, when a woman that has borderline ages, she stops being so extreme because her attractiveness, her beauty, is one of the facets that she used to advantage to control others. Fear of abandonment may result in her leaving you out of the blue. If you've ever been with a woman and everything was going great, and you might have said something like you're going to be late for work, and you got home and she wasn't there, she went back to her mother's house, or she moved, that is a characteristic of a borderline. Her fear was that when you say, and you can't look at a borderline as thinking normally. We ask people to shut those phones off, man. You can't look at a borderline to thinking as thinking normally, because they're usually gaslighting. They'll make you feel as though something is wrong with you. And if you hang around too long, you become a codependent. You will become a codependent, and then you'll feel like you need to be there to support that borderline, but they can't live without you. And they're intentionally making you feel that way because they have this. If you really want to make a borderline go batshit crazy, just talk to them about leaving them. If you talk to them about leaving them, that's going to intensify their already emotional roller coaster because it's up and it's down. It's up. You're going to think you're on the newest damn ride in Disney and you're about to fall off. When that gaslighting takes place, she will make you feel great and then make you feel like you're so damn low that you'll live in the earth form. That's the typical characteristic of a borderline. And then out of nowhere, you might break up with her, and then in a week or two, she'll call you back and try to make up. And intensely will break down in tears and crying. If any of you men in the sounds of our voices tonight have experienced this, chances are you, my brother, are dealing with a borderline. And you better put on your damn Nikes and run the hell up out of there. As if you're Usain Bolt. Come on.
That's a fact.
Otherwise, you will become a codependent. Okay.
Earlier, Kahan asked the panel if they have ever experienced anything like this, having technical difficulties, so forgive me. But if I can help one man and or one woman in this situation, all praise to the Most High for this. I've actually spent about 12 and a half years in a relationship and had no idea what was going on. The very thing that stands out the most is the extreme violent type of behavior from out of nowhere. Similar to Ali, I was also in the service, and for the sake of making a sacrifice and trying to earn a different type of living for my family, I told my wife at the time that I'm not coming home, straight home from the base, but I was going to go and fulfill a cleaning contract at a commercial building. This lady, with the kids in the car at the time, drove up and down the main strip until she saw my lights come off the interstate. And then at the first light, she drove up behind me and started hitting me with the car. Hitting the car I was driving with my car that she was driving with the kids in the car. So if you've ever experienced anything remotely close to that, you need to seek help. I'm gonna tell you, I thought I was seeking help at the time. I was not in the truth. I was in my truth, which was part of the Christian Dome. We did receive counseling, got marriage counseling from deacons, deaconesses, the pastors, and all of that. And it was always about, okay, stay together. And I'm gonna be honest, it was really about me making changes. Well, you the man, you're supposed to be first partaker of the fruit. So in a certain sense, looking back, I was kind of being slightly manipulated. But at the time, I just saw it, okay, Mo, this is me preserving my household, you know. But but there was over time, there is there are things that take place. Really, really good days, really, really bad days. But as more time went by, it did get less frequent, but each instant intensified. So it's no safe place at all whatsoever. No safe place. I can recall the worst times, or I can predict an argument every time I got promoted. Now, this is a housewife. Every single time I was promoted, there was like 51 questions. What about me? What about my career? What about this? What about that? And I put her to school twice in support of that. So she can technically run two different types of businesses if she chose to actually be diligent about it. Because at the time we only had like three. We only had three kids. But again, she was at home by herself, and 95% of the time, all of the children were in daycare. So I'm just going to say, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm setting it up. So borderlines, they also break things, destroy their personal property, destroy your personal property. They try to isolate you from family and keep you away from people that you used to be close to. If they don't demonize them, they'll try to play the victim and act like everyone's like coming after them.
They make assumptions.
Yeah, definitely assumptions. The wildest one. Now, this has happened a lot, but the wildest one. I am out at work all day. I come home. There's an argument. She's scared, acting like she's scared, violent. I'm like, what's going on? This woman has been lazy, binge watching America's Most Wanted, and put me in a place of a husband that was on the run. I was like, but I'm not even a violent guy. Like in my mind, like it was crazy. We ended up having like a whole counseling session behind that. I mean, it's really weird. When I came across this channel, I was actually seeking help for the same person for a completely different health reason. And I ended up coming across the channel, went to a couple of seminars, and then there's a kind of like a podcast called Talk Shoe Radio that the Khan would do. And there's a series of discussions on this particular topic. When I found it, I was like, man, boom, this is it. I'm excited. Now, my excitement is, okay, we found her help. Oh, no. This, it was a good time, but not for her. I would play those radios, I would play the podcast, and I'd turn it up, or I have the phone on speakerphone. I'll make it a whole event. Because whenever there's study time, in my house, I invite everybody in for it. And man, when I tell you it got intense, don't ever tell a borderline what you're gonna do. You just need to do it. Yep. I mean, what else? I mean, bumper cars on the road. What I can really remember that really stood out at the very end of it before I made the decision to make a beeline was over 10 years, this person has always threatened to leave me. And each time I say, okay, go ahead, then they flip the script and be like, so you ain't going to beg me back? You're not going to, come after me? No. But the first time that I said anything, I was serious about it, that I don't think I want to be with you anymore. And this is the reasons why. When I tell you, there's no more up, the roller coaster, it stays in the downward motion. So
that drives the borderline into a panic. Like when you tell them you're not gonna. If the border, see when you tell the borderline you're gonna leave, I mean, if the borderline says she's gonna leave, she wants you to chase her. That gives her more power. That's how they control men. But when you tell her, okay, go ahead, then she go into that intense panic. Then she'll do something. The borderline that I was with one of them, that's when she went and cut her wrist. So, well, you don't have to leave. I'm going to leave. You know what I mean? I left. I drove probably like 5 miles up, and the borderline sent me photos of where she was in the bathroom, just cut her wrist, just blood everywhere. So I turned around. So they used it as a form of control. You see what I'm saying? I said, I'll be back. I'll be back because, I'm leaving. I'm trying to go back to New York. They find this woman that looked, you know what I mean, almost Eurocentric in the bathroom with a wrist split. Black man mistake. You gotta go. So I use some wit. I'm like, nah, I'll be back. So I try to, I go back. I tell her, okay, yeah, we're gonna be together, and things calm down for a week. Week later, she started wilding out. So I locked myself in the room. In the middle of the night, man, the borderline, she didn't have no screwdriver nut. She used a kitchen knife to take the doorknob off. I woke up like 3 in the morning. She was standing over top of me, crying. Real talk. It's a real story, huh? I said, what the hell? Yeah. She said, you don't want to be with me no more. I said, yo, you said you wanted to leave. She said, yeah, if you love me, you said you would stop me. What the hell is this? See, at this time, I was still figuring out what it was. Then once I figured it out, I said, damn, I've been with a few borderlines. Because the same thing had happened. Not all borderlines are cutters, but that's one of the surefire ways of determining if a woman's a borderline. If a woman usually cut, because that's the highest suicide rate there is. With all mental illness is borderline. They're known to, they take themselves out, and sometimes they get violent. And that's the worst disorder that all psychiatrists frown upon. They don't like to deal with it because the borderline will play games with them. Sometimes when you do research on that, sometimes when the psychiatrist called the borderline takes out a notepad and start taking notes on them and asking them questions. So the psychiatrists don't like to deal with them at all, man. That's something, man. There's something. And the thing about them is they're usually very attractive women and they're highly intelligent. Because a borderline, they function very well in the regular world. So if you go to work and say, well, they won't believe you. They say, no, there's no way. There's no way. Because they know how to put on it. The borderline only shows borderline symptoms with the person they're involved with. It shows to no one else. That's what they're so good at. That's what they're so good at.
And to touch on that, when they're wrong and they know they're wrong, they'll find a way to manipulate the situation to make you feel guilty. And you need to peep that because she can make you go crazy and you start believing it.
That's called codependent.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
So they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Because a lot of men, when they become codependent, they try to break away, but they can't leave her because she would make them feel guilty. Like, I'm gonna kill you know what the borderline used to tell me? I'm gonna kill myself then. I'm gonna kill myself if you leave.
I'm gonna take all these pills.
Right.
I literally.
But this was like she would always. But I had to hide the damn razors in my house because she kept on going to the razors. You know what I told her? I said, "Yo, you work in the medical profession, and you're really psychotic yourself." She was working at the hospital, man. I said, you know how I had to stop? I said, well, if you do it again, I'm calling 911 on you. You're going to lose your jaw, right? So that calmed her down for a while because she used to always cut her wrist and she started cutting up here under her shirt where I couldn't see. Yeah, just switched up the position because there's something that supposedly is actually in the blood that helps a borderline to deal with the pain because supposedly they don't experience pain like us. They experience this intensifying pain that they can't control. They can't control it, man. You see, you know one of the mistakes that a lot of men make? They try to look at her as normal. Borderline women are not normal, man. You cannot normalize them. You cannot talk to them like you do a regular woman that's healthy. They're not healthy, man, because that goes to. I remember once, man, I used to be traveling with her, and everything was great. and we traveling like across the out of nowhere. A damn personality, and I could detect that. I got so good on it. That was, oh shit! Oh, that's still kicked in on. In the middle of nowhere. You should get mad, man. What the hell? You know what I did? You know how I found out what it was? I snuck and went to this damn psychiatrist myself and started telling them about her. And he said, yeah, I think your wife is a borderline, but I can't analyze it unless she comes in. And so I told her, I think you should go and get checked on. She told me, no, something's wrong with you. Nothing was wrong with me until I met you. Like intensifying. So you know what I did? Then he told me this book. This is the first book I got on it. It was called Stop Walking on Eggshells. Right? The woman that wrote that book was a borderline. She was a borderline that somehow became healthy. But I was, because you know how women always go through your stuff? Right. When I asked her to read the book, she wouldn't read it. So I was like, I know how to do it. I left it on the table. So she started peeking through it, right? And then I guess she read some of it. She think I didn't know. I said, if I leave it, she's going to read it. Because a woman's going to look through it. You know what I mean? She's just too damn curiosity, man. Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought him back. You see what I'm saying? That's right. Come on. Yeah, but so what she did, she went and read some of it. And then, you know, when she was in her happy stage, she said, yeah, I read that book. It sounds like it was describing me. I said, yeah, why don't we go get it checked out then? And she said, no, I'm not going to no doctor. They're going to try and put me on medication. I said, well, let's go into a holistic one. So we found this so-called black doctor that was holistic. And, you know, she kept saying she was going. And one day she really went. When I got on the up and up, and she came out, sure enough, they diagnosed as borderline. Then she said, nah, ain't nothing wrong with me. Something's wrong with her. Something's wrong. She went into that down state again, man. She probably like you. That's how she said that. I said, wow, man. There's no healing this, man.
They can only change themselves. There's no changing. They can only change themselves. Most of them are not.
So,
I literally didn't realize it until I want to say a couple shows back when we had a discussion on it. And as I started to pay attention, because I knew something was wrong with my daughter mom, but I just didn't know exactly what it was. And I knew a lot of her issues stem from being raised without a father. Because through my time and my journey of life, I realized like I was dealing with a lot of women that didn't have a father in their life. So it just always, for some reason, it would be like, I would deal with women who had kids and all that stuff, and they never respected their baby's father. For some reason, it's always a hatred. So I'm like, I know I ain't tripping. Why all these women got this same problem? And then also you got to pay attention to like a lot of the musicians and music artists and all that. They suffer with the same issues, and the type of music that they put out comes from that same place. So all those women resonate to that type of music, and it just continues. It begins to normalize the situation. Like I'm talking about, borderlines it's a lot of them out here like that. And I'm talking about,
it's a lot of men accepting it too. Like
they looking at the women for the beauty, because they be beautiful women.
Yeah, dude.
That's not a lie. They be beautiful women. And like I look at from,
and it was something sexual too, boy.
I ain't get to that part. Listen, they would do what you need them to do. In that bed,
for a form of control.
Control you.
I'm
talking about, boy, listen, they'll put them lips on you like cool soup.
And then they will pull away, man. That's how they get used. Because when someone's doing that, if you're not, this is why you know, if you're dealing with a borderline, it's very important to set boundaries, right? Certain things, if they do, you gotta set boundaries. You gotta tell them if you do, done with it, right? If you don't have those boundaries set, the borderline will drive you crazy. Imagine that. Everything's going great. You go to the store and come back. She go crazy. What took you so long? I know how long it took. The chick literally count the meters on my car. You know how you go in the mileage on the speedometer. She literally count that. Oh yeah, where you been today? See what you talking about? See, I see all those miles on your car. I said, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. Yo, you doing too much. You got to go, man.
Yeah, there was one time I thought I was gonna be I was like, I'm just gonna sleep outside in a truck, a little pickup truck, and I just drove right outside the neighborhood and pulled underneath a bridge, took a nap, came back. Who is she? Who's this? Who's that? I'm like, who is who? I even offered to trade phones for a whole day. I was like, let me know if you find something. Who's this person right here you speaking to 40 times throughout the time you're supposed to be at work? 2.5 hours. This big old argument. Well, I'm not arguing. I'm just letting it go. So the boundary I said, I let crazy be crazy. I don't say nothing until after she get tired of talking. So I look at the phone bill because she printed it out, the call list, and it was her phone number, and she had no idea. Had no idea. And I was like, you know what? Do not call me at work unless it's an emergency. That's it. Point blank. If it ain't got nothing to do with the children, don't call me. You better call 911 before you call me. I was like, I'm done.
Well,
Like,
I'm talking about sometimes everything used to be going great, right? I was training people. I was personal trainer. I was training females. I left. Everything's good. Out of nowhere, I would get a text saying, you know what? I don't think this is going to work out. I'm just not. I just feel it's too much pressure. Where the fuck is this coming from, man? So I just said, all right, whatever, man. I just learned to adapt to it. Go ahead, man. She didn't like that because they monitor. I don't want to break up because I'm always checking my phone to see if you're going to call. So are you, man. You don't want to break up. I just wanted to, okay, well, that's fine. That's what you want to do. That's fine. But then I set boundaries. If you leave, you can't come back. And that scares the hell out of a borderline.
That's a crazy part. It's that constant reassurance that they need for your love. Like, it's like, yo, you don't love me. Oh, I'm not good enough for you. When I've told you time and time again, like, stop saying that. I've already established that I do love you. I do care for you. But you keep feeling like some type of devaluement with me or something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy how they do that. Constantly thinking I'm gonna leave.
She really working to move on.
Yep.
Just to get you to the point where she got you.
And she isolate you. The borderline does not want you to have any male friends. She will isolate you. And that's how they break a lot of guys out. Yeah.
She has children. She has children. Like, oh, stay away from him.
They'll hold you hostage in their house.
You got nothing to do with the children.
They keep you hostage in their house.
She isolate. I've seen a lot of dudes broken like that. She will isolate him, man. Keep him from his friends and all that. And the dude, he'd be so weak because if you get locked in, if that borderline gets you locked in, it's over for you, man. Because they're master of emotions manipulations, man. They know how to manipulate a man's emotion. And she knows she got you too. You start playing them little games. Damn, man, this borderline pulling all kind of tricks, man. All kind of games, all kind of tricks, man.
It's crazy. It goes back to what you said. Like, once you start getting them voicemails and them texts, like, oh, I'm going to do something to myself. I'm going to harm myself. You're like, okay, I mean.
Yeah, that's how they control you.
Literally, if she writes a note saying such and such, you're the reason I killed myself, like, you know, how I'm going to look. That's what was going on in my head. Like,
all kind of texts, like, when she would leave out, and I wasn't caught, because I wasn't yeah, I set boundaries. I'm not contacted. When she would leave and then start text me, I wouldn't respond. That would drive her damn crazy.
Right.
I'm gonna come over there. You probably got someone there. All kind of stuff like that. Well, you the one that left. You know what I mean?
I mean, blow up your phone.
She's having a conversation with herself, man. Once, man, it killed my battery. She called so many times. 60 times. Wow. Then all these texts, man. I'm like, yo, this is a real sick illness, man. Because you left. Like, you doing all of this on your own. Because I wanted to take myself out of the equation. You left. I'm not contacting you. How come you in contact? You told me not to. You know what I mean? Well, I got to go now. And she's like, well, wait a minute. Now I got to go. Huh. It's not. At one point, I thought like a game, but they really, it's something going on there mentally, man. It's really something going on there mentally. Because they be like intensely crying, like the pain that they feel. They can't control it, man.
And it really, a lot of times it comes out of nowhere. So Khan, he just hit on a key factor. They have a conversation with themselves. the way they experience the world around them is not like it is with everybody else. So I think, like I mentioned, I can remember the worst days is when I got promoted. I would be happy. They would go in the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? Or if someone passed away, they would kind of be, like on the upbeat kind of deal. I'm like, that's just weird. Like, how are you excited about making plans like this type of deal? I ain't questioning at the time, but if those talks are still out there, and you guys can find them on Talk Shoe Radio, because that thing it is wild. It really is. So the bro I was dealing with also had daddy issues.
For the trap.
Did work with children, which was kind of weird. Get intensely mad when I would have a better result with our sons and daughters than she did. She would get extremely jealous and different things like that. It's really weird. And then they'll touch you. So she made it seem, this borderline tried to make it seem like I was too strict because I know how she got. I'm the only one in both sides of the family that know how she gets. So one of my rules was, if we are out in public and you disagree with me openly, you get 2 times to say your point. After that, I'm not speaking until we get alone. And when we were in a group, she went over that she tested the waters, went on 3 and 4. I'm over here mean mugging. I'm like, okay, it's about to go down. Give it one more shot. And I say no on the 5th time, and then like she blows up, and then that's when everybody's like, okay, there's something really wrong. And I'm like, y'all were agreeing with her up until a certain point. You telling me I'm harsh? So what part of this that's taking place, the tantrums, knocking stuff down, calling names, when I didn't raise my voice, I ain't calling one out their name. All I did was disagree, and 4 times out of 5 I did it very politely, and then it all went downhill from there. So just man, I'll tell you, don't tell them what you're gonna do, just do it. And another indicator for those of you that may have gotten out or find yourself being a codependent, they'll randomly contact you. Why did we break up? How can we get back together or whatever? You think we can start over? And me, I don't respond to anything like that. And then the next, like, not even 5 minutes, I hate you. You never loved me in the first place. All this other stuff. Like, wow. I mean, it gets serious. So
the sad thing about borderlines, they don't realize they're borderlines. That's why they start. I hate you. Don't leave me. I hate you. Don't leave me. It's one or the other. It's hot and it's cold. It's extreme. You never get any kind of mediocrity. It's always one extreme or the other with a borderline. When it's good, it's extremely good. But when it's bad, you got a woman from hell, boy. You got a woman from hell. And let's get Philippians 4, 6, and 7, because one of the things about a borderline, she's usually always anxious. She's always anxious, always anticipating something bad. Yep. They always usually have a negative outlook on life. Everything is negative. They see everyone as being negative. They never see the glass half full. It's always half empty. 4, verse 6 and 7. Philippians 4, 6, and 7.
Book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication.
So don't be anxious for anything. Don't be anxious for anything.
Okay. But in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving.
Borderline doesn't do that. She just reacts with her instinct, her emotion.
Let your requests be made known unto the Supreme Elohim.
So these this dialectical therapy, although that may help them, nothing cures that. And the only thing that can cure it is the Most High, because that's a spiritual, thing that's going on there. The spirits are off. You know, and I'm gonna tell you this, man. This is one thing that I noticed on everything. Whenever I would keep her in the precept around me, she was good. She wasn't acting like I used to have her fast and play a lot. She was good. As soon as she was go and visit her mom or her family, man, all hell would break loose. All hell would break loose. It came from my mom. She admitted that. All hell would break loose. And her and her mom didn't have a good relationship. They were hardly taught at all.
Verse 7, and the peace of Yahuwah, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Hamashiach Yahusha.
So at this time, we would like to open the calls up. Honestly, sisters, is there any of you in the room that believe you have these, any of these characteristics? I know it may be hard to admit. But come on, let's talk about it. Or any of you men, are you dealing with any women like this? The link is in the room. Let's discuss it. We'd love to have some of you women on here to explain why you act this way, why you behave this way. Obviously, you're going to be hard stuck to find a woman that admits she's a borderline. But do you have any of these personality characteristics? If so, I would highly encourage you to go and get checked out. So the link's in the room. Borderline personality disorder.
So someone comes in a room, all you women that are out there, if you find yourself having any of these characteristics, like Khan said, do get checked out. Don't think of yourself only. We understand or we comprehend that you've experienced some type of trauma. You've either been denied ownership from either your mother or your father growing up. More than likely, it's been your father. You grew up in a single parent home, and you may even have sons and daughters right now. So if you're not going to do it for yourself, at least do it for them. If you know you've acted out, whether you've done it around them or not, if you know you've acted out to your to their father or to a boyfriend or even another family member, you know, it's important that you do get checked out. So right here, there's a panel of men here that are here to help. And you brothers, if you've experienced this, if you have a sister, a mother, auntie, friend, girlfriend, wife, you don't have to name any names. Go ahead and come on, click the link, and share your experience so that way you can be affirmed. You can be pointed in the right direction.
JD, your device didn't connect when you try to come in. You could try it again. The link's in the room.
Yeah, real
So
quick.
I want to come on and speak. Pardon me. Go ahead.
You good, Key. And for those of you men that do have a borderline woman, you should get over her looks, man, and let her go, because you'll be so much better off. You'll start to feel like all the weight coming off your shoulders. You start improving in everything else. Yet the energy that you wasted on her will actually go towards to success and everything in general. You'll have a clearer mind. You won't feel guilt. You'll probably be more happy. All that, you will be more happy. And there's plenty of women out there, man. Don't be afraid to let her go just for her looks, man. We got to get over the body, man, the physical. We got to start checking out the mind. But yeah, let her go. It's not worth it, man. Your life, she's gonna bring you to hell, and you don't want that.
Can everyone read that device? Because I'm getting an echo. That's what I'm doing.
Is they next to you? Mic check. Mic check.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I think they next to you, huh? Well, it sound like they is.
I hear okay, man. I'm good.
Yeah. JD, welcome to the Truth Will Make You Mad podcast.
Yo, thanks for inviting me.
All right, brother, what do you have?
Man, I'm just hearing the same story that I'm going through, man. Same exact shit everybody's talking about. Exactly the same shit. You know, father ain't there. Um, you know, um, coming from a broken home, and just acting the same shit. Just not, just anxiety, fear, nervousness, putting roadblocks in front of her. Everywhere you go, she put another roadblock in front of you. I'm like, why make it so difficult? Put another roadblock in front of another roadblock. Jumping through hurdles and stuff, just trying to raise the kid and just trying to, go through life like, yeah, with as least amount of issues that you can, but she just keeps on throwing them through. So I mean, it is what it is,
Would you say that do you believe that you're possibly dealing with a borderline now, or previously
Yeah,
have?
after I'm hearing all y'all talking about that, I'm like, I was thinking narcissism or narcissistic or something like that, but then I'm like, yeah, after I heard you guys, I'm like, yeah, there's something more than that. There's something more than just, you know, um, that type of, better than the next. It's more of a personality disorder. Yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
scary shit. It's scary shit. It ain't a
Like,
joke.
it's like you like it's a little too crazy.
Say
Too
yeah,
much.
Hey, Seth, what-
Yo,
Seth, what's going on, man? We got an echo from you.
oh man.
What's going on, Seth? Are you currently involved with a borderline, possibly? Seth, are you there? He muted himself. Okay, the link's in the room.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
And I'm gonna echo.
Can't hear
Still
you.
echoing?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, man. This one chick I messed around with, man. She definitely got some signs of borderline. Definitely. She already was telling me she
Any
was like
sisters
going
in the
through something.
room that actually want to come on and talk about this disorder? Any of you brothers got anything you would like to add? Looks like we're not getting any women here.
Khan, just want to give some advice to some of the sisters that's listening. You may not call it borderline deficiencies. There could be something that guy is doing that's setting you off that resembles some of these characteristics here. Call in. Maybe it's not you personally. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe it's your sister that has some of these outrageous episodes. It'd be a blessing to hear your comment and hear where your perspective is at tonight.
Cool.
You know what you guys said about actually having the mother-in-law situation. Having the mother-in-law be involved. I mean, it's just on
Con, I
point. It's
invited
on
a
point.
sister on tonight. I seen her checked in, R&R from ATL. You could go ahead and hit the link and come on the panel.
Put the link on the call. Let's talk.
Con. Till they come on, I could talk a little bit about my issues and run-ins with a borderline. The general touched on a topic. Well, he said that they like to destroy stuff. I mean, I witnessed that firsthand. Motor blown in my car, windows bust on the house. I'm talking about through brake pads, like just pulled up out of nowhere, no conversation, no nothing, just pulled up, and I'm looking at her through the window, throwing brake pads through the window. I witnessed an issue where I'm in my car talking to a chick at the house, and she literally just pulled up and blocked us in for about an hour.
Wow.
Like it's just, and it just like it just pops out of nowhere. Like you can not talk to them, and it just come. I don't know. I don't understand. It's hard. Sometimes I got to a point where I didn't even want to wrap my mind around it. I just wanted to get away from the whole situation.
Rage, man.
Like, man, I'm talking about, I found myself when she was living with me, just like I was telling Elder Mariwan and Jadir earlier, I've dealt with 3 chicks, and all 3 of them chicks called the police on me in my own house.
Damn.
And when I look back at it, neither one of them was raised by their father. They had whorish behaviors, that promiscuous sex. So it's all that stuff. It just, and that's how they lured you in, like being tender, being tender-headed. So it's just a fact. Like if you sit back and you, at some point in your life, if you was a man that was living that type of lifestyle, that was out here or whatever the case may be, you done ran into a borderline. That's a known fact. You done ran into a borderline. They run deep through the community. Facts.
Walking on eggshells.
Just had a memory. Go ahead.
I already know. Episode on top of episode. If you sit here and you listen to this podcast, listen, we're going to call out some of them symptoms that you done dealt with, and you just couldn't understand it. And then sometimes you'll get to a point where, oh, that's just how she is. No, she not. She is a borderline, man. She is a borderline. I'm talking about, I'm sitting here just listening, and I done reminisced with a chick that I wasn't even dealing with like that. I just was literally knocking her off, and this girl came out of nowhere and scratched my infinity. I'm talking about all the way through, front, back, spoiler, everything. I wasn't even in no relationship with this girl.
Wow. That is crazy.
I'm a borderline. She done crossed the line. Boy, I'm talking about. It's just, man, when I go to thinking about it, I'm like, boy, everything I probably done dealt with was a borderline. Calm. And they be fine. Don't be blind by that, boy.
Do whatever you want. Do whatever you
want.
That's what will keep you around for the longest. It's because I remember one situation we was watching. I was at her spot. We were watching some movie. I can't remember. But out of nowhere, she just starts crying like crazy. And I'm trying to console her, say what's wrong, this and that. She said, "Don't touch me, don't touch me."
Oh, shit.
Pushed my hands away and runs in her restroom.
Oh, boy.
And I'm knocking on the restroom door, like, what's going on? What's going on? She comes out like nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. But I already knew from there she would go in the bathroom. And it started to happen more frequent. These same situations, just go in the restroom and coming out like nothing was wrong. Come to find out she was going there to just cut herself. Just to release, I guess, just some type of pain or something. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, that's something in the blood that helps them to deal with the pain. That's why they cut. Cutters. Yeah.
She cut herself in the leg, the wrist, upper arm, like the Khan said.
Yeah, cut the fuck out of there.
This is crazy. Very
what's going on?
Need help.
We had to sick up, Aki. How you doing, good brother?
Hey, Shalom, family.
Go ahead, huh?
Hey, shout out to Mosai. Y'all one time we got Shalom to T-Doc. I'm glad y'all having a fun day on the feast days. But it's a woman that I know. Can borderline personality women be attracted to you?
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? I get it. Definitely.
Yes, of course, man.
What was the question?
That's the
thing. That borderline here, girl.
they're about to replace someone else. Yeah. As the next victim. They won't leave the other victim until they have someone to replace them with. And she'll just disappear out of nowhere. All praises.
So what I'm saying though, family, like, can a woman like, I'm dealing with a situation, right? This woman, she don't want to be my wife. She just obsessed with me, but she a borderline personality. This woman, like, she'll dog me out. She'll call me all types of names, but she be still hawking me like an owl.
That's what they do. That's a characteristic. That's known as splitting. That's known as splitting. 1 minute she's hot, 1 minute she's cold.
Yeah.
That's called splitting. Destiny Nash.
A
How
roller
you
coaster.
doing, Destiny? Come on the call, Destiny. Let's talk about these borderlines. And she said, "Oh my gosh, how you all doing?" Yeah, Millican, that's called splitting. Like everything could be okay for a minute. It's like I love you,
Then
and I
boom.
hate you. I hate you. Don't leave.
Promise me you're gonna leave. Promise me you're not gonna leave. Promise me.
That she was kind of borderline, but what is she doing besides falling for the attraction of you, brother? What a type of character? Oh, he up out of here. She must have got him up out of there.
You said you dog him up.
But I think he kind of gave the answer to his own question, because he pretty much described her, like saying that she's some type of characteristic similar to an owl. Is not an owl a predatory bird? That's wise and see through the night. So, Gone.
David's getting sleepy.
Go.
David, I see you getting sleepy up.
You can't even hear a owl coming when they flapping at you. It's silent.
She's down and pick you up.
God.
Yep. She came and pick you up, Bob.
Go ahead, Millican.
Oh, what'd you say, brother Kadar?
I say, did she count and pick you up?
Never that. Oh man, it's like a bunch of, it's a lot of hatred with her love. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I was talking to my family members earlier tonight. I was talking to my uncle, and I was describing the way how women cheerlead us on. They give us it's different types of levels of cheerleading. You got cheerleader women. You got cheerleader women that talk down on you to make you do bad, to make you do good, but at the same time they be talking down on you, make you don't want to do nothing for. And then
Florida, West Palm Beach. Oh, my bad.
Salaki, go ahead, good brother, and finish what you were saying.
Oh, okay. I would just say it's like cheerleaders. It's cheerleading women. You got some women that cheerlead you. They'll talk down on you. They thinking that if they talk down on you, then they'll make you want to do better. But sometimes when a woman run her mouth, it'll make you want to get away from you. But then you got them women that support you though. You got them cheerleader women that want to support your idea, that want to be that industrious wife and help you out. And this the borderline woman I'm talking about. She don't talk. She deal with her actions. She do petty stuff. Like she'll show her hands behind her face.
Like Two-Face?
Now, just so you know, it builds up over time. They don't start off extreme. So when I was sharing my perspective, it would start as them just like getting out the car and just like walking. Sometimes it'll be in the morning, sometimes it'll be in the middle of the day, or even at night. During a disagreement, and it just builds up into this thing. So it may start out petty, but it'll get serious one day. So don't be fooled.
Just gotta try to set the boundaries quick, you know.
Just what I'm saying, my T Dot family, like my big brother, right? My big brother, he outside the covenant. Like one night we sleep, right? His old lady, well, his girlfriend, his baby mama, whatever you want to call it, she gonna come through, slash the tires. You know what I'm saying? Like she slashed the tires behind her face. I mean, she showed her hands behind her face. That's what I mean.
With like Two-Face or something.
Nah, JD, that's far from it.
Behind her face. What's that mean? She
So you
talks like that.
basically
What
Different.
destroy stuff and then try to hide about it, try to hide the fact that she done it.
Oh, I feel you. That's rough.
Basically show her hands, but don't show her face like a gang member or do a drive-by, like a blood gang member or do a drive-by shooting and spray paint Crips did it.
Con, so she do evil stuff, but try to put it on somebody else as if someone else did it.
Remember last night you did about the street?
That's rough.
His legs like
Con.
You never know what you're gonna get, you know. It's rough.
One thing I can say about a borderline, because like I said, I just recently realized that's what I was dealing with. But in the beginning, it's gonna seem so good, make you feel like a king and all that. But boy, once you get with it, you're a peasant. Well, that's just a fact. I'm talking about
Yeah.
rub your
You're number
feet
two.
and everything. You get with her, boy, she trying to bun them, boy. So it's just like, man, you got to be aware of these symptoms. I advise, and I don't give advice, but I suggest for me, what I would do is I would go and study this thing called borderline personality disorder, and every woman I ever come in contact with, I'm gonna think of these and watch out for them type of symptoms. That's just what I would do. Like,
Yeah.
boy, you gonna go down, boy. I'm talking about, boy.
You just call him crazy. Just call him crazy.
It's crazy in the beginning. I mean, cutting my toenails, going out to eat, going crazy, man. Doing whatever.
God.
It's one second.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Doc for bringing that topic out. I appreciate you out. Much love.
So they have bipolar and they got borderline, right? You ever hear about the bipolar? You know that bipolar stuff?
That's the lure you in. When someone does everything for you and snatch it away, that's hard to deal with. Huh? Now you start to think something's wrong. What did I do? Huh? You're looking for something you did. You ain't do nothing. It's just who they are.
Yep. Like the Tasmanian devil running through terrorizing the fucking house.
Yeah. Out of nowhere. If you don't know what you're dealing with, that messes you up, right? Because you start thinking something's wrong with you.
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay.
What about bipolar? You guys hear about the bipolar? I used to think that she was bipolar, but then like this whole borderline personality thing came out. So, but I used to think it was bipolar. Just two different people.
Borderline personality came out.
A lot of people mistake it.
Yeah. I didn't even know what to say. I thought I was crazy. I enjoyed it. I just thought I was crazy.
So what would be the difference between borderline and bipolar?
Now we got a kid together.
Bipolar is usually not suicidal. They're not involved in cutting.
Crying all the time.
Yeah. I'm getting an echo from someone. Yeah, the borderline, they do things like having risky sex. They do impulsive spending. Like they might go and spend the entire rent money, man, and then regret it later. Or they'll have sex with a total stranger, someone they don't know, and then. But it doesn't mean she has all these characteristics. It's just one of them, right? Some of them have it, some of them don't. You might be riding with them in the car if they're driving. You disagree. The borderline might start driving 100 and see I'm going to run in back of that car. Yeah. It's just stuff like that. But bipolar is like, you know, kind of like real
Up and down.
emotional a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Where the borderline, they would hurt you or either hurt themselves. People that's bipolar, they have a tendency to cry a lot, and but the borderline, that's a whole different animal, man. And when a borderline meets a narcissist, that's a match for hell because the bipolar person, they don't have this fear of abandonment. A borderline has a fear of abandonment, so they're
Big
always
time.
very clingy, and that's how they lock guys in so much. Because in the beginning, she always want to be loved and hugged and kissed, and so the guy gets, oh shit, that's great. The guy think he's, you know what I mean, but she does that with every man that she's with, so he think he's special, but then he says one little thing, or he might have done something he doesn't know what,
Forget it.
and it makes her think, oh, he's planning to leave me. Everything changes right there with the borderline. He's planning to leave me. Everything changes. So then you get to see the other extreme, and it's extreme hate. Everything that you've done nice for the borderline, they're gonna devalue it. They're gonna devalue it and tell you how awful you are. Like because they keep tabs, man, on every little thing that you do, and they will tell you everything that you've done wrong, man. Hold on, man. It was 6 months ago, 6 years ago. She'll say it like it was yesterday. They keep mental notes.
And she don't expect anything from
the
nobody
bipolar
else.
don't do that. And that borderline, man, that clinginess, and when she takes that away, and the reason they take it away, not because they want to leave, but if they fear that you're going to leave them, they try and leave you first to protect their feelings. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So they will leave first to try and protect their feelings. And that messes a lot of guys up because a guy doesn't know how to prepare for it. Here's this person that was giving you the wall, like washing your feet, folding. This borderline used to fold all of the clothes, like really
submissive.
I never saw anything. Cook, he like everything. Do anything for you, man. And then all of a sudden, boom. One thing, man. So everything's over. Everything's in reverse now. Everything's in reverse. And then if the borderline wants to leave and you try to prevent the borderline from leaving, that intensifies her pain because she will say something like, "Why are you trying to trap me?" Like, you can't rationalize with a borderline. You can't rationalize. That's when the crazy is real. You can't rationalize with a borderline. Yeah, they always come back. They always come back.
You're right. So what do we do about it?
Huh. Yeah.
And even when they're wrong, they'll always put the blame on you.
Yeah,
They'll never take
make
ownership. Never.
Victim.
And they will usually say to you, "I was not like this until I met you."
Oh,
You made me like
that's it.
You look at the damn history, you're fine. Oh man, okay. Well, mom did this. Okay, mom wasn't in your life, and everything comes out, man.
I never liked this before. Oh, you never pregnant before? Okay, you never had a kid before? Oh, okay.
So where are you females at? Where y'all perspective at? I know y'all either seen someone, got a friend, a sister, dang on classmate, roommate, someone that in your building, a neighbor. Y'all know y'all witnessed that.
They don't want to admit it.
Yeah, well, some of them are probably, you know what I mean? That's what's coming on. You know what I mean?
They're like watching like this.
Con, I got a question I want to try to propose to the brothers on the panel, especially the ones that's on the actual casting here, because I come to realize a lot of these women act out after you put the show down in the bedroom, man. You believe that could be a trigger? Could it be your love-making skills that's actually making her sedity wop? Could it be the Luther Vandross? Could it be the lights being turned down low? Could it be you possibly doing some things to make it go past the hip to make her slip in her mind? That's what I want to ask you, brothers. Could you believe it could possibly be your loving and romancing that's causing her to go crazy? I'd like to start with that brother JD. What you think about that, JD? Could it be you the Don Juan Capitan in the bedroom? You driving her crazy?
Hey man, we don't.
Maybe you making her crawl up the wall.
I mean, hey, you know, I'm
Tell you why
crazy, but I'm not that kind of crazy, you
I'm gonna
know.
tell you why that's not accurate because
Borderline personality is deep rooted childhood
personality is a deep-knit childhood
characteristic.
It's
That
characteristic
comes from
that comes
neglect,
from neglect
either by
one or both parents in
childhood.
their childhood.
100%.
When you
Do
do the
the
research on the borderline,
because
because
the
the
fear
fear
of
of
abandonment,
abandonment,
that's
that's
the
the
most
most
intensifying
intensifying
thing,
thing.
is the fear of abandonment.
Con.
The fear of abandonment
And the fear of abandonment comes from either one or both parents
Talking.
not hugging them when they needed of attention and giving them that consolement that they needed. And so they take that on into their adult life. And so that's why they're so fearful of their mate leaving them because their parents was actually never around for them. So they grow up believing that anyone that comes into their life is going to leave them. That's what that's
You're
all
absolutely right,
stemming
man.
from.
You got it. Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
But it's not the sex because the borderlines, you know, it's hey, leave that, get away from that stuff, please. No, why would he be around that? There's probably hidden cameras. Obviously, that doesn't belong to him, man. I knew someone was going. Somehow, I knew he was going to end up over there.
It's the fear of abandonment. That's what it is. It's childhood.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's you don't know that. Oh, there's a camera right over there in front of that door. Yeah, I know we're on here, man. But this has to be aired out. Forgive us, folks. We have a possible borderline on site right here. Borderline male.
Cluck. Yeah. You know, the interesting thing is that you know when she comes from a broken home, then you know you think to yourself, hey man, she's gonna do everything opposite. You know, she's gonna be there for her kids and stuff like that. But it just kind of becomes the same thing that she went through, doing the same thing, just you know, repeating the same shit. You know.
Con. Brother JD, did you used to think some of the actions that she was exuding? Did you used to think they were cute? And as time progressed, it turned to be something ugly?
I'll tell you the truth. I never thought her actions was cute. I was a little bit scared after, just say I was a little bit scared because I couldn't believe how she went from 0 to 60 that fast, you know, and I couldn't believe how she can go flip like that. It was like tornado coming through the house, you know. I'm like, shit, damn, I gotta get out of here, you know. And when you go, and she's like, where you going? I'm like, you know, I just got, you know, who you going? You can't, you know, that whole game, man. It was rough, man. It was rough.
Con. Sounds like a lot of these women are insecure. You
It's
know,
from the childhood.
especially
It's from the childhood. He says it's from the childhood because of the issues.
yes, from the childhood. I wonder what could have happened in the person's childhood to make them want to react this way. Could it be being brought up in a single parent home? Could it be
That's exactly what
you know
that's what Khan said. Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Con. So it could be a borderline raising the borderline.
Yep. It's exactly what happened. The fear, you know, you don't have a parent in your life from I think 0 to 10. I think up until 10 years old. That's like the most important years. That makes who you are. You know that those years are what write you for the rest of your life. So I mean, you know, if you don't have a father or mother in that time, you know, you start having a lot of shit that's going on. You know, fear of abandonment and all that kind of shit. It's rough, man.
I would just like to land back off with my Aki Tazadak said, as far as like the sex, the out of nowhere sex. It's a lot of borderline women that have unprotected sex with men. That's a big thing too, and what they eat too, like a lot of swine, a lot of crabs, a lot of shrimp. That's involved with their attitudes as well. So their lifestyles would make them borderline too.
Yeah, nutrition have a lot to do with it. You're absolutely right, bro. Nutrition has a lot to do with it, you know.
That's true, and all those things that you mentioned, good brother, in the Book of Leviticus, they call those unclean,
Foods.
dietaries. Yeah, those are unclean foods. So
you talk about the two animals. Let's just talk about the kosher versus the non quote unquote non kosher meat. Let's just talk about the meat. So you're talking about a pig, or you're talking about a horse, or you're talking about versus like a cow. Cow has the split hooves. It chooses cut. The reason why those two signs are important is because, if you don't mind, because when they slaughter the animal, the windpipe and the nerve are close together in a cow, but in the other animal, like a horse, it's far apart. That's what the big deal is. So I mean, it's the fear that you get, the fear that comes into that animal when you eat it.
Con, yeah, the brother had mentioned something about shrimp and crabs and things of those nature, those bottom feeder types. You know,
Yeah.
some of those same characteristics that that particular unclean animal eats is some of the same characteristics that that person will take on. So, you know, that's probably another tall tale sign too. You know, you can point out the dietary insufficiencies that a borderline woman may or may not be exuding.
I mean, that can go with everybody, right? Everybody's dietary, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's bad. I mean, like, you know, you think about it. You think about it when the way the animal is actually killed in order for slaughtered. I mean, you talk about the fear in the animal when it's the brain is dead, but the body's still moving. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes on. So it's got to be, you know, you got to be
Oh
very
yeah. Yeah.
careful what you eat. A lot of fear.
That
You're
is
getting a lot of
true.
fear in that food. You know, like if you have an
That's
animal
true. What
that
you
you
are,
know,
what you eat.
yeah, you have those chickens that are locked up in those coops, like, you know, they don't have anywhere to breathe. They can't, you know, they live a life of just fear and shit, and it comes right into you know, you're eating that shit. I mean, it's like you got to think about that, man. You know.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true because it's been scientifically provenly shown that animals that are raised in a nurturing environment, you know,
Yeah.
they are a lot more healthier. But animals that are raised in a hostile environment, you know, a lot of that meat's not healthy at all.
But
So,
you're eating that shit. You're eating the fear. You're eating their fear. You're eating their negativity. They're eating their cancer. That's what you're doing. You're eating that shit. I know, save a buck here
just
and there, but shit, you know.
that's true. That is true.
Scary
That's
shit.
why if you see something, say something. Try to get these sisters some type of professional help or do some research yourself because so much had
Yep.
came out tonight speaking about these characteristics. And if you see a sister going through these type of afflictions, you know, it's best to try to either seek her to get professional help or
You're
you
right there.
yourself, you know, try to deal with it with a delicate glove
You're right there.
because it's
My
hmm
situation. Sorry about that. You know, my situation. You know, she was open to going to get therapy, and she went to go see a psychiatrist. And we were like, I was excited. I was like, cool. She came back to the place. She's like, yeah, the doctor gave me some medication. I'm like, okay. She's like, well, I'm nursing. I can't take it. She's like, you know, the doctor said I ain't got no help at home. That's why I need the medication. She don't even want to admit that it's her deal. You know. She's trying to
wow.
pass it up. You know, like I didn't get no help at home. That was your prescription. Oh, you take Zoloft because you don't get no help at home. No, I mean, shit happens. You know. But it's hard for them to
Gone.
grasp.
Are you currently still with that young lady?
No, I mean, we're breaking up. That's about it, man. You know, she took the kid and she ran, man. And you know, and then she's like using the courts to get at me. That's why I met you guys. I mean, she got me through the court system. She just tossed me to the fucking wolves, man. She didn't give a fuck. She's like, here, do what you gotta do, you know. And she just tossed my name up there. I'm like, oh man, the last thing you want to do is go to the courts, man. She didn't tell me a whole month before she filed. You know, a whole month she didn't tell me. A whole month. Like what? And she ain't from the country, right? She's from a different country, so she don't give a fuck. She don't have the the birth certificate like we got, you know. She don't care.
Wow, that's true. That's true. That is so true,
She
brother.
tossed me up. She tossed me to the wolves. I'm like, you know, she wasn't well. She had this thing called postpartum depression after she had the baby and the whole COVID thing and the whole
Yeah, I'm
postpartum.
familiar with that.
Yeah,
Right.
so she wasn't well, man, and you know, and she wasn't letting anybody come over to help her out. You know, no nanny, no nurse. She wanted to do it all herself, carrying the baby all fucking day. I'm like, you're gonna burn yourself out. You know, you got to take care of yourself. You know, when you're in an airplane, the masks come down. You put it on your face before you put it on the screen. You know? Take care of yourself.
Wow. Is that her first child that she experienced that
That's
postpartum depression with?
Yep, her first child. This is her first marriage. I mean, everything about it was like, you know, more or less the first time. She's like, yeah, I wasn't like this before. I was like, what, she never been pregnant before? She's like, no. Like, exactly. I'm like, you never been a mom before? No, exactly. So we all doing the first right now, but you know,
Exactly.
you know, you know, you're not Superwoman. I mean, shit happens. You know, you can't fix every single thing. You know, you got to take care of yourself first, and baby's gonna be okay. Don't worry. You know, baby will be okay. You love her, and you know, you're there for her, but you know, you got to take care of yourself. You know, if you have to, you know, oh, you don't want me to nurse. I'm like, no. It's not that I don't want you to nurse. I want you to take care of yourself. If you ain't good, everything's gonna break down.
That's true. That's true, brother.
And it did, and this shit happened. And then the moms get, you know, the moms come into town and just take, you know, yank her out and like, you know, go see a lawyer. And I'm like, what? Like, a month later, I find out a month later she's going to see a lawyer. I had no idea. I had no
I
idea.
don't think he wants to put her away,
Fucking,
but he still loves her. Wow. And my
yeah.
suggestion would be for a lot of brothers out there that are experiencing these borderline women, get your evidence up. I mean, if you have to pull out your cell phone to record
Yeah.
some of this stuff
Yeah,
or
I got
get
a
her in
video.
a third
Yeah.
party call,
What's that gonna do
go
though,
ahead
bro?
and record it. Well,
What's that?
when the let me tell you what it'll do. I feel
Yeah.
like if you have evidence to so-called show the
Show
court
who?
system or even
Oh,
the police officer once they get there, at least you're creating what's called a paper trail.
I feel
But
you. I
for a
feel you.
brother
When you
to
talk about
not
when you
have
talk about
uh-huh.
yeah, I feel you. I feel when you talk about court system is it's biased. But when you talk about police officers, so
Oh yeah,
they
yeah, they'll suppress you, no doubt.
don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. I mean, especially because she don't got no birth certificate. They're like, okay, you know what? Whatever she says, she on under oath, she tells the court that she hit me. She assaulted me more than 4 times under oath, but didn't matter. They don't give a fuck. They're like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, they don't. They
They don't
don't.
care.
That's why it's good to get some independent information. Even if you can catch get a audio recorder, get a
I got it
video
on
recorder,
video.
even make that
I got a video.
wow.
I got it on video. You can have it. They don't do nothing. I got it on the camera outside. She's striking me because going through the rage. She's striking me with the baby in her hand. Like, and what? I mean, like, you think that any regular legitimate uh, um, administrative court or any kind of regular court or judge would say, hey man, either should take the baby from both of us or I mean, but not to even say one thing is bullshit. As when that shit happened, when the judge didn't say a word to that, I was like, fuck it, this is a
Mm-hmm.
joke. So I started doing research, and that's when I found Khan. That's how I found him.
Wow,
Administrative
brother. And what
process.
landmass you on at the judge is that? Because I know the Kahan talks
I'm in
about
LA.
one state where you got a woman standing over a man or something like that.
I'm in LA, man. It's a joke. You know that.
Oh,
The,
you
the
in
same
Los
judge.
Angeles. Wow,
Yeah.
brother.
The same judge that did that Denise Richards Charlie Sheen case. That's my judge. He's a
Right.
joke.
Wow,
You know
man.
what he did
Yeah,
before?
big time.
He was a contract lawyer. That's what he did before. I mean, he never touched family court. As soon as I heard all that shit, I'm like, no, I know this guy. What he's up to? He's up to trying to take the cash, But I'm trying to administrative, administrative process.
And it
So
sounds like you're in the beginning of this stage with all this breaking out the way it is. How long has she been gone? How long has she been MIA?
She's been almost a year gone, man. Almost a year gone. Now she like, the first month she didn't tell me she didn't tell me she was gonna divorce. She's like, yeah, we're gonna go see, we're gonna get, we're gonna fix our marriage, for our kid. Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. We gotta figure shit out because this is not working, right? And then, in the meantime, she's talking to a lawyer. I had no idea. And then she goes and files shit without asking the court not to tell me. Like, ex parte, don't notify him like I'm some crazy,
Gone.
Yeah.
And when's the last time you saw your seed?
Oh shit! So now she took now she put a restraining order on me in July. And guess what? She got it.
Wow, brother.
A restraining order. Restraining order. You know why? For emailing.
Right.
For emailing, where she can just for emailing, not harassment, just say, hey, can I see my kid? Hey, I don't want you. I give you no permission. I'm not, I need to know how my child's doing. None of this bullshit. But she was con yeah. But she she did she got the court helping her out. That's what they're doing.
But you got that one book that Kahan he has out there for brothers dealing with child support.
You know what? I don't. I just heard about that one. The color the color of or the black book or the blue book. It's the only one about which one are you talking about? What's the name of it?
It's a red cover book that he has, and it deals with brothers dealing with child support.
Yeah.
So,
red pill, right knowledge. Con. Yeah, because that book helps out tremendously, brother. I actually had to buy myself one and gift it to a friend of mine that was going through some child support issues, and he indacted some of that information to the equation. Brother, he has his kids, and that young lady is paying him child support. But this initially started off with him so-called having to go to court, and he was going to be put on child support. So he did a continuance. I guess he pushed it out for 90 days, and within a couple of months, his paperwork started getting submitted into the courtroom. And anytime they asked him questions, he kept saying, "Reflect to the record." Before you knew it, man, this young lady now has visitation, and he is the so-called, I guess, the one that has the kids and things of that nature. But when they push hard on you, man, just use that knowledge in that courtroom, because a lot of the times, they're taking advantage of a man in there. You know,
Hell
we're
yeah.
still dealing with a very heavy feminist system out there.
Oh
So
yeah.
of course
You
they're
see,
gonna
I came on. Yeah, I came on under dishonor. I came in with a lawyer first of all when I first got it because I had no idea,
oh,
right?
a
So I was
liar, a
very fucked. Yeah,
lawyer.
yeah.
Oh, one and the
I was
same.
fucked
My
up.
fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was screwed from the beginning. As soon as that happened, I figured out, a lawyer doesn't do shit. I'm like, I let him go, but I was still in dishonor, so I got to work my way back into, back to being in honor. So I sent him out. I sent him a notice of conditional acceptance, and waiting for show me the proof of claim. See what happens there, and
Gone.
like try admin process, see if I can get back in
Right.
honor.
Wow, brother. Look here. I guess the scenario is just look for
The
the
brighter
silver
side.
light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
it's
God,
definitely gonna be a battle, brother.
for sure. God has everything's meant for a reason. Everything's,
That's
there's a
right.
reason why. I just feel bad for the innocent child. You know what I mean? If it was just me and the
Yeah,
chick,
because
I'd
the
be like,
kids
whatever.
shouldn't have to go through that. The child shouldn't
No,
have to go through that, man.
no. She said, "Oh, the baby's good." I mean, like it's like this old lady that used to live next door to me. She smoked for 90 years. She's like 95 years old. She's smoking. She's like, "Yeah, I smoke a pack a day, cigarettes every day. I'm okay." I said to myself imagine if she didn't smoke, how many more years she would live, So like my daughter, the child's okay, but imagine how much better the child would be when they have two parents that are getting along at least. If you don't want to,
That's
be in the
true.
same home, it's all good. I don't have to be in the same home, but at least she needs her dad, she needs her mom, and that's just how
Yeah,
it
she
is.
need her dad. Her dad helped her get on this earth, unless that woman self-impregnating herself.
There you go. There you go. She want to be,
Yeah, man. That's a team package, the mother and the father deal. I mean, in my opinion, I believe the kids are most definitely the man's first because they're coming out of your sack, man.
There you go.
Those are your seeds, man. If that woman was able to put something up under the microscope, there's no life in that. But if you put yourself up under a microscope, you see life all in that. So I
There you
cannot
go.
even begin to be her seed. That's your child. And to the courts, get this right. I mean,
The
it's going to
courts
be a
are
lot of us
never
going
gonna
through
get it
this.
right. The courts are never gonna get it
Nah,
right
nah,
since Reagan.
if they ever got it right, brother, that'll take too much money up out of the people's pockets.
Well, for
That
real
whole.
though, for real. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, like you're talking. I mean, major money, billions. But
Con.
it's the whole devil shit. It's all it's all Satan's game. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
True it
And Tom will
is.
tell you.
True it is.
That's what they're
Especially
trying to
when
do.
you
They're
have
trying to
a
fuck.
father that wants to participate in this child's life, and it's the type of foolishness it is.
Sad.
Makes
It's
no
sad.
sense, brother. Makes
It's
no
sad. It's
sense.
ego. It's ego.
Mm-hmm.
It's ego, and that's what they did. That's how they screwed up our country because they funded the women's situation. I mean, I hate to say, I'm not trying to be sexist or nothing, but they empowered the woman, and they're trying to they try to make her not need a man, and that's what fucked up the whole thing.
Con. And it's a daggone shame, man. It's a daggone shame. But when I came into this knowledge, I don't know how long you've been affiliated with the channel and everything like that.
Yeah,
But I know what the time I've been affiliated with it, brother. I come to find out that by way of signing that birth certificate, I put my children back in the so-called custody of the state.
What you gonna do?
So
what would you do?
Well, brother, first of all, I don't know how far you is with this information or whatnot.
I'm saying,
but
what
I
would you do?
definitely
What would you
claim-
do when they tell you that you ain't gonna sign it? What would you do? What would they? I mean, what do you think's gonna happen? You're not gonna get away.
Well, with the birth certificate not signing it? Oh, well,
Yeah.
you write a pre-care list ahead of time. You do a recording of the birth versus a certification, a registry of the birth. You do a
Okay, so they
recording
come to you. The nurse
versus a
comes to you and says,
registration.
"You need to sign this certificate so you can leave the hospital." What are you supposed to say?
No, that brother got that in that book. I say, that book goes into the great detail of how you lost
Oh, wow.
custody of your child to begin with by signing over the birth certificate because of
Right.
U.S. Title 42,
Right.
Section 666.
But you can't. You don't have no
give
choice.
you.
Is what I'm trying to say. How are you
Yeah,
supposed
you
to say,
do.
like,
It's not. Remember, there's
oh,
no law that says you have to get a birth certificate. The day you can find that law, brother, man, you doing big things. But it's a difference between illegal and something lawful. Legally, I can sell you grapes that don't have seeds in it, but lawfully, I couldn't sell you grapes that didn't have seeds in it.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
How do you leave the hospital then? How are you supposed to leave the hospital? You have any ideas?
Well, yeah, I got some ideas. I'm gonna put my elder on the line. Grab him real quick. Let him break this down
And
to
also
you.
another thing is that the marriage certificate is also screw you up, and even if you get divorced, you still screw with that. You're still stuck with the marriage.
Well, yeah.
certificate.
And then that's the thing that Kahan says a lot. don't get married in the system.
He's right.
You
He's
know,
right.
because that's a good way to get entrapment too. Because we got to remember, don't nothing in that Tanakh / Torah / Bible says go to your
Mm-hmm.
local clerk of courts and get a marriage
Yeah.
certificate. It don't have
Yeah.
nothing like that, man.
No.
Because we go ahead and get a so-called marriage license. We go
Yep.
ahead and give ownership of that union instead of to the
Yep.
creator. We get
To the
that to the
government.
so-called government, and they
Yep.
have the right to dissolve, and they have the right to, either they the
Rule.
ones put it together. They're the ones who can say if they want to look at it for her favor, they can look at it in her favor. And 9 times out of 10, that's just the way the movement has been going. Is that they've been so-called, man, they've been empowering more so
Demasculating.
women in this judicial system. Oh yeah, it's
Yep.
ridiculous.
And
It's
and, and and
ridiculous,
and you're
brother.
still stuck. Once you get divorced, you're still stuck with a contract with the government. It doesn't matter even if you get divorced. You got, it doesn't matter if you not have a contract with your spouse. You're still stuck with the government. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but according to what Kahan say, he always say, man, become a secure party creditor. That way you sever that umbilical cord that you have with the so-called system.
Yeah, you know
There's a
what
way out,
I was thinking
brother.
about. I was thinking about that. But you know what the steps are. That's what I got. I got to figure that out. Let's do that.
Yeah, Kahan sell a SPC. He actually asked a donation for a SPC package.
Okay, cool.
So that's
And,
what I would honestly do, because you
yeah, I'm ready.
dealing with the government. You know that's optional, right?
What do you
All that
mean?
stuff's optional, man.
Yeah.
Well,
If I
that's
want
what
my kid,
Kahan always say. He always
Mhm.
say if you want to, run your
See, the
life,
thing,
become a secure party creditor,
I feel you.
because
See, the
it's a
thing is,
whole different. Oh, go ahead, good brother.
Yeah. If it wasn't for my kid being involved in this situation, if it was just her trying to get a divorce from me without a kid, I'd be like, do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. But the fact that the kid is involved, it's like she believes the court is the ultimate ruler. So if I could just figure that court shit out, then she'll believe the court.
Oh yeah, you'll have her knocking back at your door, asking to come home, Johnny.
Yeah.
She gonna say, JD, let me back in, man, please.
I don't know, man.
But that's what Kahan had to do. Kahan had to do that with one of his kids' mother. He had to humble her because he had made the court system submit in his favor. And this was in one of those states where the ideal of a man actually winning in court, brother, was like, 1 to 10. You got one man for 10 court trials that actually win. So he was actually in the state where, I don't know what state is that, brother Kahan, where that
Virginia,
woman
I think it
standing
was
over
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah, that's what the good brother say, Virginia. So,
I think so.
he had a lot of people telling him, he wasn't going to be victorious, man. But he walked out there with the torch.
He's got a lot.
And
He's got a lot. He's got a
woman,
lot of
look,
angels on. He's got a lot of
she had to
angels on his side.
submit.
He's got a lot of angels standing with him. I'll tell you that. You can see it. You can see it.
Well, the good brother practiced that James chapter. Hebrew Israelite, so he be practicing that James chapter 1 verse 5.
Yeah, he's wearing the tallit.
Many of you men lack wisdom, ask Yahweh. He be on that type of time, and always works out for him. So
yeah, my dad is from North Africa, from Morocco, next to where the Moors are at, right?
Oh, right on, brother.
Yeah, and I met my chick in Jerusalem. That's how crazy it is,
Wow.
Yeah. See what happens? But what happened is LA fucked us up. The whole pandemic kind of like, she gave.
Yeah, that pandemic had a big impact.
Yep.
But I guess one good thing that came out of it, brother JD, if you see another woman exuding some of those characteristics, what you gonna do, brother? You gonna invite her into the boom boom room, or you gonna?
Yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to make sense out of the whole about my about the whole situation with my daughter, trying to
taking care of this current situation.
Yeah, so she took off. She went out of the country with she's not from here, right? So she took off. She's from South Africa. So she took off and didn't tell me she took off. Yeah. She told me she didn't. I mean, that's a beautiful country. She told me she's she didn't tell me she even left with the kid, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And since I'm in dishonor, I can't say shit to the court, so I'm trying to get myself back in honor. I just finishing up the second the default the second set of letter the notice of fault the cure. So I'm setting that one out.
Right.
I got 10 more days, and then hopefully shit will happen. She will turn around. I can start throwing in some stuff into the court, because right now I can't do shit. They laugh at me.
Con, I would try to get that book, brother. If you want them to stop laughing at you in that courtroom, I would get that book, because I mean, a lot of success. A lot of people have called back in with testimonies about how they were able to be victorious in a scenario without this information. Brother, they're going to keep on putting you in the kangaroo court. You're going to be jumping in and jumping out, jumping in and jumping out. But with this stuff, they got to respect the paperwork. You know, the pen is mightier than the sword in those situations. And when you're
Yep.
dealing with borderline women, the best thing to beat them is logic.
Yep. But does he show you how to get back in honor in the
Yeah,
court?
he show you how to get back in honor. Absolutely, brother.
That's what I need to do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I need to find. So
That's why I said I would look into that book. But, you know, let me see if I can grab the good brother Kahan, see if he can shine some light on this scenario. Because, like I said, if anybody knows what it is to have to stand up for yourself and also stand up for your kids, that would be him and exactly what he's indicted in that book. Let me grab this good brother. Hold on one second.
All right. Anyway, I think he took off.
Shalom, huh? All right, we're about to go ahead and shut this one down. Brother's not responding. So we thank everyone for tuning in. As for now, we're gonna say shalom.
Shalom.
Enjoy. Peace and blessings.
Today's the Sukkot. Take the Sukkot holiday, right? That's the holiday.